Welcome back to Cambridge Auto Sound and what might be our shortest video. This Audi TT is almost ready to go back out, but I just wanted to show you what we've done to it because it's not all about big sound systems, multiple amps, expensive speakers. This has had a pretty simple install because the standard amplifier wasn't working and there was just no sound at all. Well, it went from being no sound at all to then randomly a few days later for the client working, but sounding pretty awful. And I think one of the reasons it was sounding pretty awful is because the standard speakers in both doors had quite badly perished. One of them wasn't even fixed in at all from, I think, where a window regulator had been changed in the past. All of the fixings that the screws go into had broken, so it was barely held in there. You could actually kind of move the speaker forwards and backwards on the door housing, so it wasn't sealed. It would have been causing a lot of vibrations. But like I say, most of the time it just wasn't working at all because the Audi amplifier had failed. That sat in this corner. I've got the trim off at the moment, and there had been some water ingress previously, which the customer had resolved by having the tail light replaced. But unfortunately the amp had obviously suffered from that. So we've replaced it with, you can barely see it in there, I've got some pictures that I'll throw up in a minute, but it's a Audiotec Fischer. Those of you who have seen our other videos know we like their amps, nice and small. The DSP on them is pretty much the same tuning, well, it's the same tuning software and it's almost the same DSP in all of their amps, whether it's the entry level, which this is almost the entry level, the little 6-channel that I haven't used before, whether it's the entry level all the way up to their Brax amplifiers. They've got the same software, the same power DSP, and it's a brilliant bit of kit. But this is the 6-channel, the smallest of the match line, I think, and that's sat in on the standard bracket. That'll get hidden behind the boot trim. There's a reverse kit that someone's fitted prior to us. We've just tidied the wiring of that up a little bit. That's now running, it's a 6-channel system in this. So you've got 2 tweeters, or they're quite large format tweeters up on the dash. They play quite low actually. Despite the fact it looks like there's a grill for a mid-range, it doesn't actually have a mid-range on there. We did give the client the option of adding one, but it would have meant a amplifier of more channels and having to run extra wires into the door. So there's nothing behind there, but someone could upgrade that in the future if they wanted. And behind that lower grille, there's a new 8-inch Audiotec Fischer Compose i3 speaker. So that's running at 2 ohms, so it's going to be running the maximum power from this amplifier, which is 160, or up to 160 they say. I think it does some clever switching around to detect when there's bass notes being played versus like the little tweeters. It doesn't give those quite as much power. Again, I'll throw some pictures of those up from behind the door. They're fitted on some adapters. Some very basic sound deadening. It wasn't optioned on this car, so we kind of did the sound deadening for free just to try and dampen that area around where that new speaker's going to go, because that's going to be running more powerfully than the old speaker that was there. Tweeters just set up behind those grills. And even though it's a simple system, we've still sat in it and done a time alignment and a basic EQ, so it's sounding pretty good now. Also, we fitted the Sony XAV-AX6050. That's in a new fascia from Audiotec. It already had a doubled-in head unit, but it wasn't CarPlay. So we've updated that to one that runs wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. So it did have the CAN bus adapters behind there already that we've reused, so you still retain all your steering wheel controls. But yeah, that's a great head unit, very simple to use. You turn the key and within a couple of seconds you've got your CarPlay up there, which is pretty much all you want it to do really. And that puts out a signal to the amplifier, which then, like I say, splits it. Oh yeah, we have got rear speakers, but we haven't actually changed those. They were working fine. So behind those grills there's a small 5-inch and a tweeter. They actually sounded pretty good, so they've just been re-amplified from this amplifier and then time aligned and EQ'd, so they're sounding pretty good. But that's it. So if you've got a car that's not sounding its best, probably because the speakers are going to look like this or because your amplifier's failed, give us a shout. This has been a nice simple install compared to some of the other bigger ones we've done. So I thought it was just a good opportunity to show that it's not all about the big, expensive multi-channel systems, we can do relatively simple repair stuff like this as well, but it's still going to go up sounding pretty mega. Can't wait for the customer to hear it when he comes and collects. I think he's going to be quite happy. Thanks for watching. CambridgeAutosound.com, or check us out on social media, Instagram, and we'll see you in the next one.